Okay, so let's start with the interior, which was the major job. Door cards were shot, carpet was just kind of cut-offs. Seats were horrible. 3 layers of old seats with some horrible tartan material on top. The original seats were really nice actually once I got to them, but completely shot. So that was a monumental task. Period replacement part, which is quite nice actually. Probably the most expensive thing I've actually bought for the car. The dash kind of getting to a bit of Alcantara over there. All the metal trim painted matte black instead of the kind of shot chrome. Leaving the header in for now because that looks like a horrible job. Leaving the dash as it was. They painted it as kind of military green. Might do something about that later. None of the dials work at the moment. We'll come back to the electrics. Obviously engine start button rather than the key. Glove box was pretty horrible, so kind of rat roided that. The Bel AIr is actually keyboard keys, and the nicely drilled panel is off I think it was a microwave or a dishwasher mount. So a little bit of recycling going on. Door panels themselves, just went and bought some hardboard and some leatherette, glued it down and riveted them in, which is kind of a nice finish. Door handles are actually bought, but then Chuck cut out the surround because it was easier to mount with those screws. The top of the door frame I just sanded it again and matte coated it with varnish, and it already had all those holes ready for the rivets, so that was kind of cool. And yes, ye famous door latch, which I put on the other day, having done a right turn and nearly exiting the vehicle as the driver's door swung open and I followed it trying to catch it. In the back I decided to go with the normal seat, but the seat back, once I took it out, there were these wonderful V's, so I used them, and you'll see when we get to the electrics all that back panel is it's kind of a frosted perspex and there's lighting behind it, so it all lights up, which is kind of funky. Back parcel shelf, again following the same theme, and a bit of skirting board at the back, covered and studded with coach bolts, and had this random old belt kicking around which sadly didn't fit anymore, so I used that as just a centerpiece in the middle there. Don't know what to do about the wheel arches, which are obviously now exposed thanks to not using the actual back seat panel, so I don't know, I'll probably just matte black those. To upholster them will be a bit of a nightmare. So all new carpets, which again straight off the shelf, and new sills, dice for the door locks to match the furry boys that my dear friend Chuck bought me because he likes to take the piss. Yeah, so quite a lot of work on the interior, that took the time. And then this T panel, which we use for the switches, I just happened to have kicking around. It was one of those silly little light up T's, and that hinges on a bracket, you can probably see in there, so easy access to the bottom of the switches. Probably going to change out all the switches because they're cheap Chinese things, and they're a bit crap to be honest, so might get some more industrial ones that don't actually light up. And then the wheel itself was not in bad shape, but I'm filled in there were a few cracks, filled in the cracks, matte blacked it, but the original horn push and everything, which obviously doesn't work, but and then the bolt-on indicators, which again were just an improvement on the old system, especially with what we wired them up to, which you'll see later.